One of the best ways to get ideas for your e-commerce store is by looking at trendy celebrity stores. Check out this sweet dual carousel slider from Hailey Bieber's store, Rhode. It has these step buttons that gracefully animate both images when the mouse is hovered or when they're tapped on mobile. This is a great way to showcase product bundles or collections with complementary products. I'm going to show you how to add this to your Shopify store with just a simple copy paste in a matter of minutes. If you're interested in the code, it consists of HTML, JavaScript, CSS, and Liquid. If not, don't worry, you can just follow along and you'll be all set. My name is Nick, and if you find this video helpful, please consider liking, leaving a comment, and subscribing. I appreciate the feedback. Without further ado, let's get started. Now, the first thing we're going to do is get access to our new themes code. So I would recommend duplicating a theme so you don't do this on your production. And I'm going to be using my local development environment. So I have a text editor set up. If you don't want to do that, no problem. Just come here to your theme library and then click edit code and you will have the same thing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually come to my code and I'm going to go to this sections directory and I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to call this dual carousel.liquid. Excellent. All right. And now if you have this, now we can go ahead and start adding the code. I would recommend just copying the entire file and pasting it at once, but I'm going to paste it in just one piece at a time and talk about it just a little bit. So at the top here, I'm going to add this CSS code. And you can see that there's a few things going on here. So the reason that it looks a little funny is that I have everything under this ID and everything with the important flag. This is generally not the best practice, but because this could go into any sort of theme, the global styles can screw up these sections sometimes. Like if your theme has certain global styles applied, it will screw up what this section is supposed to look like. So this is supposed to help with that. It doesn't entirely remove that though. So sometimes you do have to deal with that, unfortunately, but you can see these are kind of boring, just a lot of styles, trying really hard to make sure that they don't get screwed up depending on the theme, but we shall see. And then we have a few media queries to make this mobile responsive. We want to make sure it looks good on the smaller screens, of course. So with everything there that looks good, now we can go ahead and add our HTML. I'll paste this in here and we can take a quick look at it. You'll see that we have this div container with that custom ID. So this is wrapping everything we have. And then we have two things really we want to talk about, which is the portrait section, this side on the left, the big image, and then we have the content section, which is on the right, which has a little bit more text, the heading, the title, subtitle, and then the description and the small image as well. So I will talk more about this in detail in a moment, but suffice it to say that this is everything we need so far. You'll see there's a few liquid things at play here. We're just doing a for loop so that we can loop through each. There's always going to be 5 images and five slides for each carousel. So if you wanted to change that, you can. You just have to update that here. Instead of 5, you do 4, and then also do the same thing here and here. And then I believe there is going to be one thing in the JavaScript you would need to update as well. But let's go to that JavaScript now. I will paste this right below our liquid code, and you'll see that we have our closing script tag and our opening script tag. The reason that we're using the default script tag and not the Shopify liquid version is because we're referencing schema settings in here, so it needs to be this type. You can see right off the bat we have some kind of complicated looking liquid with JavaScript. This is just kind of one of those things that looks a little funny when you're trying to get liquid schema settings into our JavaScript, but really all this is doing is it's just creating a schema for our JavaScript to then be able to move the carousel side to side. So there's a lot of things going on, but most of it is just setting up event listeners so that when those buttons are clicked or hovered on, we want to make sure that they navigate correctly, setting up transitions, translating CSS, making it move, and all of that sort of stuff. So everything looks good so far. Also, if you wanted to change this so it didn't happen on the hover, maybe you want it to actually be a click, you can change that right here, and you would just change this to like that. But I'm going to leave it on mouse enter. And now I'm going to go ahead and paste in our schema. So I have added that now, and you can see we have quite a bit of settings going on here. And most importantly, I'm going to point out that we have this presets name custom carousel section. And I'm going to change it to dual. Let's do that. Now I'm going to save this file. Once you've saved it, you should be able to navigate to your theme editor and then you should be able to refresh and add it. So I'm just here on the home page. I don't really care which page it's on, and I'm going to go ahead and add it. So everything looks good so far. Obviously there's no images, but we can change that. So I will go ahead and add these and speed through so you don't have to watch me do that. Okay, so now I'm hitting save and everything should be added. We can edit these lines of text, of course, if we want. I'm just going to add the images so we can take a look. And now if I come back to our theme preview, I should be able to refresh and see our new section. All right, and here it is. So this looks pretty good. I tried to follow the styles of the website to the best of my ability, but you can see it looks pretty good. And I'm zoomed out here just so we can see it a little bit better. But you can see it's quite a large image. Now there's a couple key things that I'm going to point out here. Of course, these images are large, so they need to be in really good resolution. And then also for these images right here, the ability for them to look this good is because the background of the image is the same color as this background of the div. Hopefully that makes sense. So that's what gives it this really seamless transition look, is because you don't notice the images coming in and out because it is a shared background. You could also try removing the background from a tool like remove background, something like that. You can Google it and you can upload images and it will remove the background for you, so you could try that as well. But if we take a look, we can see when I hover, they are both transitioning smoothly, and it looks like the text and everything is showing up as I would expect. So I'm pretty happy with that. And let's take a quick look on mobile. And you can see there's our image, and it's on click on mobile. So everything is moving. I can see the images, and I'm very happy with this. So I hope that this has been helpful. If you have any questions, let me know, and I will see you next time.